everybody struggles, you know. You know, everybody's shit's brown. So
and then you, Hello and welcome to the UK Surf Show. We are your hosts. I'm Pete.
And I'm Leighton. On this episode, it is our first mental health episode that we said that we were going to do at the start of the year.
Yeah. So on this one, we have back our friend Spoons. And
the return of Spoons.
The return of Spoons. And we have Chris back from the Logfin Co. because his episode sort of kicked this all off when he opened up about his own mental health.
Yeah,
and got us thinking about it, and the response we've had, well, one of them we read out in this one, it's just been phenomenal. We approached this one as just four guys having a chat about their mental health, you know, as guys do. We didn't prepare for it, we didn't have pre-done questions or anything like that.
Totally fluid chat about it, and that's how we wanted it, because that's how things come out. Like what happened when Chris came on to the episode. We didn't ask him about mental health. I mean, why would we? He come on to talk about his fins, and then it just come out. So, it's a more natural approach to the conversation. So, hopefully, you find it helpful.
Yeah. Don't forget, before we get into this episode, if you head over to Northcore and use the discount code SS2022, that will get you 15% off anything you order from Northcore.
And you can go over to the Surface Wetsuit website and get 10% off a wetsuit there by using the discount code the UK Surf Show 10, all uppercase, no spaces.
Yeah, that is spelled SRFACE.
Yeah, we should have said that.
Yeah, it should have. Yeah. Okay, we're going to this one now. Don't forget, listen to the end of the show and we will tell you about the competition and a few other bits and pieces. The competition will be closing as of the day this comes out at 12 o'clock tonight.
Ooh.
Yeah, so
mental health series.
Yeah, people are joining us on our mental health series, and in this chat we have Spoons, the return of Spoons.
The return of Spoons. It sounds like a film.
Good to be back, guys. Good to be back. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and the return of Mr. Logfin himself, Chris.
Hello, Shumai.
Oh, he's ruined it already. So, and then obviously you've got Leighton, who's graced us with his presence. And
what are you talking about? I'm here every week.
And then myself.
Can we switch Leighton out for a sister or not?
Oh no! You know he's going to leave that in, don't you? You know he's going to leave that in.
Oh Jesus Christ!
I'm joking, man.
Oh, you
killed me! I'm choking now.
You're welcome, Leighton.
Pete's just choked on air. That's how funny that was.
Yeah. So, what we're going to do with this first one, I think, because I think all of us have struggled with different mental health issues and things we found it difficult to talk about. So, if we go around and just sort of have a free chat, and so people can get a gist of like what it's like when men talk about mental health. A lot of it revolves around piss taking a lot of the time.
How you feeling?
Yeah. Are you happy yet?
How you feeling?
Well, so last time you were on Spoons, you mentioned some stuff that was going on, didn't you? And that you kind of had struggles. And I know you wanted to come on to say about how difficult you found it to actually get the help you need.
Yeah. I mean, God, how long ago was that? I was on last time. It's over a year, isn't it?
Episode 7? Was it, when you're on?
The best.
Well done.
The best episode.
Well, I think there's someone on this screen there that will disagree with that.
Oh, no. I actually listened to your episode again today, and it's great. It's so good. It's the whole wetsuit with no arms.
Oh, mate, yeah.
Had me in stitches.
I think that story will be told at my funeral. I think that's
put it on your headstone.
Yeah. Don't forget your arms. That's it. I'm never going to live that down. But yeah, a lot's happened since last time I was on, really. But I mean, not long before coming on last time, I obviously lost my mum, which is one of the most stressful things you can go through as a person, not just a man. Losing a parent's like the hardest thing ever. And then after that, we had lockdown, which then, sort of, and I'm trying to think of the word, exacerbated the situation really, because like lockdown, you're all in your house. You can ring each other up, but you lose, like for me personally, I kind of lost that kind of support network of like close friends and, meeting up with people, having a beer, having a laugh, banter, all that sort of stuff. Cause, I think like that's how, a lot of the time that's how blokes, express themselves. We take the piss, don't we? And then when you lose that, when you're stuck in lockdown, like say for me personally, I really struggled, and you can ring people up, but sometimes it's not the same as your mate putting your arm around you, going, you know what, mate, it's going to be all right, which is what I needed at the time. And then as well as all that, I decided to buy a house. which if anyone's ever bought a house knows it's very, very stressful. And so just a culmination of all this stuff just got on top of me really, and I ended up in quite a dark place, like having struggled for so long and not told anybody and just kept it like all to myself. I didn't even like tell my partner. I kept it all inside, because that's how we're kind of like brought up, you bottle it up,
I think an interesting thing about that side of it is that me and Leighton could see from the outside that you were getting to a point where you needed help. But that's another one, how to bring up that conversation with someone. I know me and Chris have had conversations. I was just going to say, I don't know how much like what you want to say, Chris, is up to you. But I know I'm quite open about it all. Like my life at the moment is going through a bit of a, it's quite, how do you say it? It's not fucked. This is what I mean about this is what men do, like joke about their mental health as well.
Say what you see. Like, say what you see.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? Yeah. I just want to ask you, Spoons, how did you vent it all? And
I didn't. I bottled it up. I bottled it up. Yeah, I bottled it up, because like you say, that's, like whether it's intentional or not, when you grow up, like as a man, that's what you taught, you don't show weakness. You've got to be strong. You've got to carry everybody else. Everyone else is struggling, you've got to help them, that type of thing. And, it's like stupidly, I think as a man, like expressing your feelings in certain ways, or even just acknowledging that you're struggling or you need help. Like there's like something deep inside you that says, no, don't do that. No, just hold it in. Which leads to so many problems, because I held it in for so long, and then it came out in really, really horrible ways. Like one of the ways was I shouted at my partner, and I love my partner to bits. We've got the greatest relationship ever. We never argue. And for some stupid, trivial, no reason, I screamed in her face with anger. It just came out. And then even as the words were coming out of my mouth, like my head was saying, what are you doing? But I couldn't physically stop the outburst of anger.
No.
Because because you bottle it up for so long, and, eventually it comes out.
Do you find like you just seen red sort of thing, and that was it?
Yeah. I was left with two emotions: silence and rage. That's all I had left. That's all I had. I had no coping mechanism. There was nothing in the middle. No. It was silence or rage.
You were having really messed up dreams as well, weren't you?
Yeah. I mean, it was just a really, really dark time. And one of the worst things as well as that was like the voices in my head, and I didn't realize, but I've soon come to learn that not everyone's got an internal monologue in their head. Like I can hear myself talking to myself in my head, but apparently not everybody has that, like a narrator in your brain. And I couldn't shut myself up. It just got louder and louder and louder, like all like negative, really horrible negative stuff, like screaming in my ear, and I couldn't turn it off. And
it's just tormenting you, is it? All the time.
Pick. Just and then you get to points where things that you enjoy, or things that should bring you happiness, you lose the ability to enjoy them. Like I couldn't feel joy, because every time I was doing something that I thought I would enjoy, my brain would say something like, "Oh, don't enjoy this too much because you'll die soon and then you won't be able to do it anymore."
Fucking hell.
Well, actually, so when you were going through the really dark bit, I think you rang me and you said about that internal monologue thing. And so all through us all growing up together and stuff, Spoons has been the one that's always been super happy, never see him down, always really upbeat and excited about life. And so when this happened, we noticed, even though we were like in lockdown, we still noticed quite quickly, because it's just so out of character. It's just not like him at all. And I can remember speaking to my partner, Rachel, and saying, I'm actually really worried about Spoons. Like, I hope he doesn't do something stupid, because I've never, ever seen him like this. And like, how long have we all been mates now? Like 30 years?
Yeah,
and
long
30
time.
years
Too
I've known
long.
him. I've never, ever seen him like this. And it was terrifying. So I was ringing you up every now and then, just kind of double checking on you.
That really was a catalyst for me actually reaching out and asking for help, which ties into this really well, because, like, blokes got to look out for each other. I'm really lucky, and I've got Leighton and Pete as mates. People would actually look out for me. So I would urge anybody listening to this, look out for your mates. Like Leighton and Pete did. If you notice a change in somebody, just say, "You all right, mate?" And then, like, my automatic response when I was struggling, my automatic response to everybody was, "Yeah, I'm all right." When I wasn't, but some like Leighton would phone me and he'd go, "Are you all right though?" And I'm, yeah, I'm all right. Yeah, but are you all right? And then you go, "Actually, no, I'm like struggling a bit," and it goes from there, And I've said this to Leighton before, but the fact that Leighton was like ringing me and checking in on me, I wasn't confiding in anybody else. I hadn't told. I mean, it might have been obvious to other people I was struggling, but I hadn't told anybody else or reached out for help. And Leighton looking out for me and ringing me was one of the reasons that I did seek help. And if he hadn't done that, I don't know how far down that deep dark hole I would have gone. I really don't. Yeah. So I've said this to Leighton before, but I really appreciate that looking out for me, because like, how bad would it have got, before like, say something stupid happens. And the other thing I'd like to say for me is, like, I always thought that, like, particularly about suicide, I always thought people that killed themselves were really selfish. And I'm like, why would you do that? Why would you, like, go through that, put your, loved ones through that? But having struggled and been in a really dark place, right? And this is one thing that scared the shit out of me. Like, I didn't get to a point where I felt suicidal, but it made me understand why people did it.
Yeah.
And in my head, I went, Christ, no wonder people do that if they feel like this and they can't get out of it. Yeah. And that scared the shit out of me, honestly. Yeah.
I think that's one of the things that's very misunderstood, which is when people do get to that point, they're not then thinking about, what about my family? They're thinking, how can I end this pain? How can I get out of this?
Absolutely.
Well, there's a really scary statistic. I have no idea how they managed to find this out. But apparently when you can go from being fine to suicidal in like 25 minutes, apparently it's like the emotion that comes over you is so all-consuming that you just cannot think in a logical, straight way.
Well,
I've actually been in that situation twice.
Yeah.
Right.
And it just consumes you, literally. You can't think of anything else. You just want the noise to go away, all that going on in your head. And it's as if you haven't got an escape plan. You've got nothing in place. So you just think to yourself, right, maybe it's time that I just take my own life, and then everything else will just, you know what I mean? But you don't know what happens after death, do you? That's the thing. It's like,
you feel that everything will be better if I'm not here. Is the cure to all my problems,
exactly.
sort of thing.
Yeah. It's but everyone says, it's the chicken's way out. Well, no. If you live with the voices that I live with, and most people live with them voices. It's not fun. It's not fair either, you know.
No.
Because and you always take it out on the people that are closest to you. Always.
Yeah.
The only reason I didn't do it is the fact that I didn't want anyone else to find me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'd gone that far that I thought, actually, someone's going to have to find me, and then they might be put into the situation I'm in.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's like, but then, like you say, you don't feel selfish in that moment.
Yes.
You just think
it's an escape. You just want to get away from it all.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So my coping mechanism, like at the moment, is running away. You know, I run away. Instead of just
sorry, I don't mean to laugh, mate. But it's just like the way you said it. The way you said it then was like, I run away.
I run away. Yeah, I do. Yeah, it's weird. Like I drove to Cornwall. Like, you know, it's 5 hours from where I am, and I don't even remember the journey.
Wow.
Yeah.
I genuinely don't even, and I did it twice.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's 20 hours of driving I don't remember at all.
I can relate to that.
Do you think that is because you can't remember it because you're so like in your own head and battling your demons on the way down? That
100%, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's why you can't remember it, because your brain is just trying to stop this pain.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Really
and it's like, yeah, it is. You know, who knows what I would have done, or you know, but you go through this like little system in your head, just like, all right, reach sort of from where I am, reach Cardiff, then reach Bristol, then reach Exeter, and then reach, you know, sort of St. Austell, or, you know, and then it's just like you're putting in these little goals in your head, and once you reach there, and then once I was in Cornwall, I was like, what the fuck am I doing here?
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
You put so much effort into fighting it. You kind of ignore everything else.
100%, yeah. And I think a lot of it to do with is social media as well. I've fallen down that rabbit hole of like, because I'm in the surf industry, I should act and I should live a certain way. Whereas in reality, like I spoke to Pete when I was in Cornwall, in reality, it's complete bullshit. It is complete bollocks.
Yeah.
It's not real. It really isn't real, you know what I mean?
What were you feeling that social media was trying to make you be as a surfer then? What was it that you felt like you had to live up to?
I had to live up to, like, you know, sort of, I had to have a pretty girl on my arm. I had to surf a certain way, which in essence made me not enjoy surfing as much, you know? So there's this constant pressure of performing and of living a certain way, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I had to go to Devon or Cornwall because I had to live that lifestyle. Whereas in reality, you know, I'm representing like the Mid Wales crew, sort of, and this is where all my family and friends are. So why would I ditch all that for something that's so bloody stupid, really, isn't it?
Yeah, social media's
it's made up.
As good,
it's completely made up.
As good as it is, it's fucking terrible as well. Because like I said to you on that phone call, I said we only post the good shit. Like, I don't post pictures of, like, if I posted a picture, which I will with this episode, actually, I'll post a picture of the fucking mountain of wires that are on the floor.
Yeah.
That's been a ball ache.
And the 20 minutes you took setting up.
The 20 minutes it took setting up, and the fucking, then we couldn't get the sound working properly, and, you know, all sorts of stuff like this. Like, we don't post any of that shit.
The fact that we were talking that, so you might jump in on an episode soon, Chris, want you to take over from me, just because life is just busy, you know, and I can't commit. Like, I'm going to try to, but if not, we've got like you're my tag team partner, and you can come in and do like an episode or two. So we might have guest hosts, just because life is manic and my work is crazy. I haven't surfed in a month now. I just can't find the time to get there. I don't know when I'm going to be able to surf again. So like you say, like online, if you're a surfer, it's trying to tell you, you know, you need to have this ripped body. You need to be out surfing every time there's a swell that comes in. And even if there isn't, you're the guy that's found swell in some weird corner of the country, you know. And when in reality, what it is the guys that have been out surfing have just taken loads and loads of photos that day and will post it throughout the month.
Yeah.
And the whole time they've been doing that, they haven't been enjoying the fucking surfing anyway because they've been taking photos. You know?
Yeah, that pressure. Yeah. It's that bollocks pressure. You know what I mean?
It's a highlight reel, isn't it? It's not, like you say, it's not real life. If I can chip in on the social media thing, I mean, that was one of the things that really affected me in a really negative way. That's what I deleted my Facebook because I was using that as a way of distracting myself from realizing how ill I was. I would like wake up in the morning. First thing I'd do is I'd look at Facebook, and like Facebook's great at showing you the things that give you, that make you have an emotional response. And for me, it was like getting me angry. It was, I would look at it and I'd go, right, that's right. Oh, I'm really angry. And I end up arguing with like random people, like on in Facebook comments, like arguing, like full on arguing with people in Facebook comments and stuff like that. And I realized that I was doing that as a way to avoid confronting how I was mentally and how bad I was getting. I was using that as a distraction from actually confronting and facing up to
reality.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. To the reality of the situation that like I'm in a bad way. So, I mean, we all have used social media. I mean, I still have Instagram and stuff, but you got to be really careful about how you use it, I think. And like you say, that, people need to realize, it's not real life, is it? It's a highlight reel. Nobody lives like that. Yeah. Everybody struggles, everybody's shit's brown. So
that's got to be the intro tag to this. Everybody's shit's brown.
You can't polish a turd, but you can roll it in glitter.
Yes. You get as you say in social media, and then you get people who like you send a thing to, and then they stop following you. That's another one.
Oh, here we go. You're going to bring that up again.
We've set him off.
Fucking start. He's fucking lucky I didn't name him.
You're more pissed off than what Chris is.
I'm actually. I've put it to bed, so that's it.
I'll hold a grudge till I fucking die.
Pete, so what about you? Because you've had some struggles.
Just before we go into me, because that'll take up the rest of the episode. How have you coped then with what you've been doing, like what's happened to you recently? What's been your coping mechanisms? What have you put in place, and what's happened to you to help you through it? What I've been through lately, it definitely shows who your real friends are. Mm-hmm. That's one big thing. And I can tell you now that I've got a few like really, really good friends, and that's my support network. Yeah. And then to get through like everyday life sort of thing, I run. Well, I've been running a lot. I've been walking a lot as well. And then when there's surf, I'll surf as well. Mm-hmm. But just up the road from me is one of my really, really dear friends, Anushka and Dave Brown. They're potters, so they actually make homeware, sort of stoneware. Mm-hmm. So I actually go up and throw on the wheel and stuff like that.
Oh, wicked! Cool. Yeah,
it really, really calms me down. So yeah, I'll probably go up there next week now, without a doubt. And yeah, it's just nice to be around people that you want to surround yourself with. Yeah, you know what I mean. And like you as well, Pete. You rang me straight away when I told you the news. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then I've had Leighton message me as well. Yeah. I'm just waiting for spoons, really. So.
Yeah. You got the Holy Trinity right here. The Holy Trinity.
Yeah. Mate, once he's got your number, all you're going to get is dick pics.
Yeah. That's a story for another time.
We're doing.
Oh, yeah. No, we'll tell that story.
Oh, God. Do we have to?
I think we should. I just remember.
We should.
I remember that.
Oh,
so
God.
Anyway, I'm going to tell it.
Can you let me tell it?
No,
at least
because I'll tell it better.
Oh, God.
So basically, I was sat there one night, and I think we were younger. We were going to play Skittles or something.
Yeah,
I'll do something.
To put the record straight. Me and Leighton lived with a friend way back when we play Skittles. I still do on a Friday night. Yeah. And we used to go out pretty early on a Friday night, and we would start with pre-drinks round at our friend's house where we used to live. And so I like jumped in the shower quick to get ready to go out, and I'd left my phone on the side. And of course,
left a phone on the side, unlocked.
Yeah, well, this is
in a house full of men.
Yeah,
which is a major no-no.
This is like back in the day when phones weren't as sophisticated as they are now. And so
early 2000s.
Yeah,
it was about 2004.
So I left my phone on the side. Anyway, I got in the shower, got out of the shower, like got ready, whatever, and I started getting these text messages. And it's like text message, why have you sent me a picture of your dick? I'm like, what? And like, ding, another one. What the fuck? Like, ding, and I'm like, everyone else is literally like pissing themselves with laughter. And obviously it turns out that Pete had got my phone. I was in the shower.
No, it wasn't me. It was someone else because I got one of the pictures.
It was one. So I was sat in the room, and I can't remember who it was. So
you still don't want to own up as to who it was.
No, it was one of us in the room.
I can tell you who it was. I'll cut his name out because in case you don't want to be in it.
Yeah. So yeah, went onto your phone. Went on to recently taken.
Yeah.
Photos or whatever.
He'd been sexting with a girlfriend. They'd been sending each other nudies.
And this is I was a technology trailblazer, like back in the day, like this is what you did, I was just getting ahead of the times, but yeah.
And and then he decided to send it to Pete.
Everybody on his phone. Basically, he just forwarded that picture to everybody on his phone.
Yeah. What's gutting is you've actually had to pay for that.
Insult to injury.
Yeah. Back in the day, MMS messages 50p each. Yeah. Send to all. Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah.
Before we went off on a tangent, which I feel is going to happen a lot. What were we going to talk about then?
We were talking about Chris's coping mechanisms. And what he does.
Yeah. That was it. Not joking.
Chris, can I ask you a question? Can you have you sought any like professional help? Have you, for instance, share as much as you want. Obviously, tell me to do one, but have you spoke to your doctor, that type of thing? What was your experience of reaching out?
It was actually quite hard. It was like, it's the NHS is stretched as it is, and. Yeah, so I went to see my GP and they put me on medication, and that medication didn't work, which made me worse. And then the thing is, you have to take this medication for like 2 weeks. Just make sure it works.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it takes you down the rabbit hole even deeper.
Before it starts to bring your mood back up?
Exactly, right. Yeah. So you're basically like a guinea pig for 2 weeks, and you just zoned out, and you don't feel human. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I've had therapy as well, so counselling and stuff like that, which has helped, but also it's unravelled a bit more of the nasty stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And at the moment, I'm actually waiting for an appointment for a diagnosis of ADHD and Asperger's.
Right.
They think I'm on that on that path, which it'd be nice to know if I am, so I can actually put things in place to sort of cope better with it, you know what I mean? Because I'm not academic at all. I can't, like reading a book freaks me out. But you give me anything artistic, like playing guitar or anything like that, that's no problem at all. Yeah.
Just like
don't compare me to Pete. I think the doctor will take one look at you, Pete, and just go, just give him a bullet.
I know what you were saying though, because I meant like the conversation we were having on the phone, and you were like, "Oh, do you ever get this?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Do you ever get this? And you're going, "Yeah." And like we're saying, like about the voices in your head that go like, you'll do something, and you'll then have a fucking argument with yourself, going, "What the fuck did you do that for? You fucking idiot!" And like you really put yourself down, and like I, as I said on an earlier podcast, I think I've got ADHD, and I've got to. Well, if your doctor's my doctor, good luck getting an appointment. But I
think there's a 4-year waiting list.
Yeah, so I looked at going private, and it's like £1,800 or something like that to get a diagnosis privately.
So only the rich people get the help they need, then.
Yeah, standard, isn't it?
Is that what you're saying? You know, because
you either wait for ages or you go privately. And I'm to the point where I think, like a while ago, I was thinking I'm just going to pay it. I'll just pay it on my credit card and then just pay it back. Something like that.
But, I mean, you need to weigh up like the stress of having the debt against how you're feeling, I suppose, don't you?
Like my friend Dave, the Potter, says, "Can you afford not to?" Because you imagine in 4 years, in 4 years before you even diagnosed, what you could do.
Yeah,
It's silly. Really.
Are we going to be seeing some ceramic fins coming from you soon? Then?
No, I don't think so.
I don't know why, but I've got in my head. I've got a vision of that scene out of Ghost where they're doing the pottery.
Well, me behind Chris.
That's why you're going there so much.
Loving it.
I'll behave.
What about your own experience of getting help spoons? Because I remember you saying to me that one of the reasons why you want to come on the podcast is to say how difficult. Not only is it difficult to admit that you need help, but then to actually get that help was really hard.
Yeah, I mean, from what happened to me, my experience, like being able to actually ask for help, like acknowledging that you need help. Is the first step, and that's so hard. It takes so much energy and so much honesty with yourself to actually realize, no, I really do need help, and then you kind of reach out. So what I did was, like yourself, I got in touch with my GP and said, look, I'm really struggling. These are all the things that happened to me. This is how I'm feeling. This is the way I'm acting. This is what it is. And the GP emailed me back because my GP's got that kind of computerized triage system where you type it all in and what have you. And he emailed me back and he went, yeah, sorry to hear you're feeling that way. If you, here are some numbers of some, local organizations that can help you. And my first reaction was kind of like meh. And then actually after that, I got quite angry because it took so much effort just to ask for help. And when I asked for help, the response was ask again. Pass me on.
While you're on that one, so my wife works with a lot of people who've got mental health problems or struggling to get back into work or college or whatever. I don't really know what she does, but she does something like that.
She helps people kind of set their life back up.
And she's really good at it. And she said that there's one really good one because a lot of people find it really hard to talk about it. And there's a really good one called Shout that you can text, and you'll text, and an actual human will text you back. And that's 85258, and you just text Shout to that number, and they'll text you back and ask you what you need help with, and you can go through it on text because there's a hell of a lot of people out there that don't want to find it really difficult to speak to people.
I mean, like I say, the I didn't think I was in that bad a situation, but it took so much for me to ask for help, and then when I think about other people that might not be as lucky as me, I have the friends that I've got, or, if somebody's in a position where that's all they got left, like if that's all they've got is just that one, like ask for help, and the response is ask again, then they got no chance, have they?
No, because you've mustered all that energy up, haven't you?
Yeah.
Just a phone and or message.
What?
And then all of a sudden you're just like, oh, can you do that again?
Yeah.
Just,
and
it's
I got really angry about it, and I was like, no, that's not acceptable. And luckily, it took me a couple of weeks to kind of reset, and then I asked again. It was actually a different GP, and then she phoned me, and then we had a conversation about how I was feeling, what I was doing, and that was actually a much more positive response than before. And I got some medication to help me, and I'm happy to say very lucky. The medication I got was right for me straight away, and within a week or so, I was a completely different person.
A week,
wow. It was like and depends how old you are, you might not know this reference, but do you remember the wrestler, the Ultimate Warrior from like WWF days ages ago? It's like this guy would get pummeled in the ring for like half an hour, get like beaten up, whatever, like half an hour. The guy's half dead. And then he would like grab the rope, shake the rope, and then he'd get all his energy back and then like beat the crap out of the other guy. That was me. That was like,
like the ultimate spoon.
The ultimate spoon. You know? It honestly, it changed me around so quickly, and then after that, I was able to do all the things that I was able to do for myself to make myself better, like exercise, all that sort of stuff. Because I run quite a lot, not so much now, but I used to run a lot, and it's one of the things I really enjoy. Helps me like mentally to box stuff off and to think about stuff in a positive way. Yeah. And when I was struggling, I would look at my running shoes by the door, and I would want so much to go out running, and I would be saying to myself, "Oh, if you go for a run, because it will make you feel so much better." But I couldn't physically put my shoes on, lace them up, and walk out of the door.
Didn't you say the one time you did go for a run, you had that voice in your head the whole time as well?
Like really? quite similar to you, Chris. Actually, when you say you were driving, you got to Cornwall and you didn't know. Where I live in Weston-super-Mare, I live north end of the seafront, and I started running, and I mean I've been running for years and years. I wouldn't say I'm any good, but it's something I can do quite well. And I started running, and my feet, they felt like lead. I don't know. I felt like I was like twice the weight I was. I could hardly move. And I in the first sort of 500-600 meters, I got down to the seafront, and I just started walking, and I felt like an absolute failure. I just felt like I just felt like giving up, and I'm like, this is so bad. And I started crying. So I actually started crying, and I'm like this is like mental. You look like a complete basket case walking down the seafront, like crying your eyes out. Like in my running gear, like people must have been looking at me going like weirdo. And then after about 5 minutes of walking, I was able to muster up enough energy to fight myself and say, start running. Go on, mate. Just like that lamppost. Like try, and then when you get there, that seagull up there, try and get that far. And then I started to process stuff in my head, and I ran the coast path to Breen, and after I finished crying on the seafront, the next thing I can remember is being stood on the beach at Breen, and I was looking out at the tide, the sun was setting, and I was like, how did I get here? I even now I have no memory of the distance between Western Seafront and Breen.
That's
all.
It's like 6-8 miles.
Yeah, it's about 8 miles.
6 miles. Yeah. I ran 6 miles, and I was just stood on the beach, and I was like,
sorry, I just had in my head then. I was running.
One day I felt like running. Yeah, but I mean that's another thing that poor mental health robs you of, is the ability to go out and do stuff and enjoy yourself.
Yeah,
definitely. I was looking at
we've had like messages from surfers, and so one of them we've had before is like, the only thing that used to help was surfing, and now I can't even enjoy that anymore.
It robs you of it just robs you of the stuff that you enjoy and would help you. So
the thing is, it's also good to have a backup, not just surfing.
Yeah,
because that's what I used to do, is just have surfing, and that was it. And that's never healthy, especially where I live. The waves are quite fickle, so.
I thought you meant Wales. Sorry. I know it's not the Welsh people that are listening to this will be like just screaming at the speaker now, but you know, you got to do it. You give much better than you get normally, to be honest.
Oh, I don't know what you're on about then. No, but the thing is, it's like, don't put all your eggs in one basket. You know what I mean? Like, have a backup plan, like running or cycling or even walking. You know, just get out. You know what I mean? Because, like Spoons said, it is tough sometimes just to go, I've got to do something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I could quite happily just sit on the sofa all day watching TV, no problem at all.
Yeah.
My mind wanders like hell. Like, my mind goes 100 miles an hour anyway. Yeah. And then you go down to that bloody social media stuff. It just gives you that little bit of stimulation. But then you realise then you've been on it an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours.
See, what you're saying then about the mind wandering, watching telly. I'll be watching telly sometimes and my wife will come in and say, what are you watching? I'm like, that, I don't know. Yeah. Literally, the picture's just there in the background. I don't even know what's on telly.
When I know when we I kind of contacted you about going out for a hike, like our first one, just you and me.
Oh, mate,
so we did a long distance hike on the coast path. So it's the closest thing you can have to pure freedom in this modern world. You know, you got all you need to worry about is what's on your back and making that distance for that day. And I remember you telling me about the Facebook thing and you were getting consumed in it, and there's just no signal out there. You are forced to concentrate on solely what you're doing. And just over the course of, what do we hike, like 3 days? Just over that course of those 3 days, your mood changed. And I think that was at the point where you were about to get medication, or were you on it at that point?
Well, when we did that, I think I had probably started by then. I think, I'd probably started by then. But I do remember that and how good that, that made me feel. It was, we just spent the whole time like chatting and stuff. And I was talking about my mum. Yeah. I was able to articulate, some feelings that way. So yeah, that was a big help.
But I remember
at the same time, you're going through grief as well, aren't you?
Yeah.
It's, that's tough alone.
I think it's another thing I think doesn't really get addressed. A lot of men find it difficult to articulate what they want to say, because you grow up with your mates and, all surrounded by boys and growing up and everything together. And all through growing up, you get told like pull yourself together, get over it, man up.
Yeah,
man up.
And you talk to your mates or something, and it's like, oh, what the fuck are you going on about? Shut up, you fucking idiot, whatever, or what, insert whatever words you want, what blokes called each other.
Yeah.
And I think blokes find it really difficult to articulate. And going back to what Spoons was saying about his first encounter with the doctor, I've heard a story this week of someone who went to the doctor, and the doctor actually it took a lot of courage to say what they needed to say and how they were feeling. And the doctor actually said to them, pull yourself together.
That's terrible.
But
there's even like a stigma around the medication, isn't there? Like you should feel bad for needing medication. And so I can remember when you called me, Spoons, and said that you
did put it in a brilliant way.
Well, that wasn't actually me. I'd like to take the credit for it, but I remember hearing this line, and because
I didn't want to take medication.
You didn't want to take it. You're like, no, not going on it. And I was listening to another podcast on it. And somebody said this really brilliant line, which just like encapsulated the whole thing really well. And I thought, next time I speak to Spoons, I'm going to say that to him. And it was this person who was having trouble with like the idea of taking medication. And the person they were speaking to said, no, it will help you. You need to think of it as a ladder out of the hole that you're in. And once you're out of that hole, you don't need the ladder anymore. And so that's what I said to you, because that in my head, that made total sense, where you're almost meant to feel like if you're on this medication, that's the only thing you ever need to be happy ever again, is this medication. And that's not the case. But because you're in a cycle, aren't you? In this vicious loop, and you can't break it by yourself, and you shouldn't feel bad for that.
It's a simple imbalance in your
brain
cells, basically.
I think I'm on serotonin boosters.
Yeah,
because I used all mine. I was like, right, just I turned 40. Like 3 days later, my mum died. Then pandemic. Then I bought a house. So I'm like, I got no serotonin left. So that's literally it. So I used all mine up. But that's that's what mine do. And like I say, I do genuinely feel super lucky. Like they help me like pretty much straight away, and now now I feel like the old spoons again, which is great.
Well, you had it as well. You were in a situation where you thought
he's always miserable.
I know he's always miserable, literally. But you were in a situation where you thought. This is the other thing, where you were in a situation where you thought you were going to need to start taking antidepressants, but it turns out it was the situation you were in at the time.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm lucky enough to think that I don't suffer from mental health issues. You guys might think otherwise.
You definitely do.
But I'm not talking about the exercise demons that we've spoken about before. But so what we're talking now, like 7 years ago, I think it is. Might even be 8 now. I went through a really messy divorce, and it was like by far the hardest time in my entire life. And I thought I might be getting to the point where I might need to take medication. And like things, like you said, Spoons, the things that really bothered me were the things I knew that used to make me happy didn't anymore. Yeah. And that then makes you feel even worse, like, well, how am I meant to get out of this? Like, like what's going on? And it was just, it was really, really hard. And I don't think I got as far down the rabbit hole as you guys, luckily enough. And my coping mechanism was, kind of working out really and running and stuff. And even when I hated it and I really didn't want to do it, because I got these demons in my head with it, it made me do it. And I hated every second of it. And, and I mean, even nowadays, like 9 workouts out of 10, I don't want to do, but I'm made to do them.
Yeah.
I love the fact that he says he doesn't think he suffers from mental health, and then goes on to tell you about his workout demons.
I know they exist, and they are. I'm getting control of them. Actually, I'm getting control of them. That's thanks to Alan. Adrenaline.
Not exactly representative, like of the entire population. Us 4 guys here, but. Everybody struggles. Everybody suffers stress or grief or
this is the thing.
Everybody struggles.
This was the thing that the other thing that affected me. That one negative comment by anybody, could have been a stranger or anything, would massively impact on your day.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is going on? You know,
and you can't let it go.
Yeah, normally you're like thick-skinned, or whatever. And it was like, but equally. A positive comment kind of did the same as well. It's like, and that was really, I find that really strange. Like all over the place.
It's like you can't take a compliment, isn't it?
Yeah, but
you think, what do you want from me then?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's how it feels for me. Like if someone gives you a compliment, you're like, first of all, you don't know how to take it, and then second of all, you're like, what do you want?
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
But your response to it is just like. Massively out of proportion, but you can't think in a logical way. It was really, really strange.
See, I think the way you've just described of I don't think I suffer from mental health, luckily, is the mass opinion of people. Of I don't think I suffer from any mental health issues. I'm all right. It's all right. Whereas if you start looking into it deep down, everyone's got their
I think everybody has like maybe a certain level of anxiety, especially nowadays with like cost of living and all that kind of stuff. Like everybody's stressed. So like that thing that one negative comment could really impact you. Then it'd be really nice if people listened to it, thought about that, and then when they're out and about and they, shout at someone for some stupid reason, just think, they're also going through shit as well. Yeah. It's not just you, other people going through shit. And in some way that kind of unites everybody, doesn't it?
Yeah, I know I've said it before, but my wife always says it's better to be nice than right a lot of the time.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is true. And I joke going, but she's wrong. But she has got some good points,
What about you then, Pete? Because you said about the ADHD thing, but there's also
here we go.
How are you feeling, Pete? How are you feeling?
But what you have, which after like all these years of knowing each other, and you only told me like it was a few years ago when we invited you to my partner's 30th birthday meal, and there's quite a lot of people there. It's the first time you said to me, I'm not too sure I can come. And I said, why not? And you said, I suffer from social anxiety. And I've never never known that about you. I mean, look, you're just a twat most of the time, and you kind of you're loud and you'll talk to anybody and all that. So that was.
I think that's like a masking of it as well. I think, even down to like I used to run an open mic, and it used to like terrify the shit out of me every time, and like large crowds of people, I just absolutely freak out. I hate it. I have to really and I think I go over the top, and I'll just start like talking shit basically and talking to anyone and everybody. Just
like on a podcast. Yeah,
literally. It's just a complete like a podcast is a coping mechanism for my life. It is that thing. And I'll just start, like I'm doing now, just start rambling and talking absolute nonsense, probably repeating myself half the time and saying whatever about whatever, because if I'm talking and doing something else, I don't have to actually deal with what my brain's doing. And I've joked about it before, like my anxiety and stuff. Like one of the kids always says to me, like Brandon always says, you always scat out when you cross the road. And he said, you're like, and I've said it before, like if you ever like that about crossing a road or anything like that, go to LA, because there's so much traffic that it that thing where it overwhelms your senses and you've got nothing. And I came back from there and I was just like, yeah, whatever. And it doesn't bother me at all.
But it's weird how strange little things can like crop up in your mental health like that. He's like just crossing the road was just a bit of a weird thing for you all of a sudden. You know,
and I've never been like anything like that. And
no, because when we were kids, you just skateboard down the hill and straight across the road,
or light a firework and, and then run after it.
Yeah, just like it's one of those things that, like, I can remember. I must have been about 17, 18, and I was walking across the road and I was trying to light a fag, and I can remember the conversation still really clearly. And Leighton going, "Pete, you're dead," and I turned sideways.
I remember that.
And there was a bus about 4 foot away from me, and I just scrambled out the way in time.
So I'll explain a little bit more in depth. So we're walking back to, I think we've been out and had a few beers, and we're walking back. It might have been actually in the middle of the day. Why are we drinking?
No, we weren't drinking. It was the middle of the day, and we were going between two parks across the road.
Oh, right, okay. And so Pete, trying to be cool. He's all like, a little bit kind of like your. That's when you grew all the hair, and everybody just used to call you Hair. That was his nickname for a while, just Hair. I mean,
looks like Dougal, Magic Roundabout.
So he's like, lighting a fag, trying to be all hip and cool, like doing it really slowly.
I actually think I was just crossing the road,
and I'd already crossed the road because I could see the 3-ton bus coming towards us, and I turned around and Pete is still sauntering across the road, and I'm like, Pete, you're like, what? You go, you're dead, mate. And you're like, what? I turn around and the bus is there. Like that. And you're like, fag goes flying across the road, and Pete sprints across the road the fastest he's ever sprinted in his entire life. So maybe it was from that moment that you got.
What I like about that story is, rather than you helping him, like grabbing him or whatever, you just went, Pete, you're dead.
I just thought he was doing that thing that you see, teenagers doing when you're driving somewhere and they walk across the road really slowly to make you slow down. I thought he was doing that. What I didn't realise is, no, he was actually didn't know there was a bus coming at him.
Yeah, So, well, that's maybe where that came from then.
This is like group therapy. This is great.
Well, I mean, this is what I wanted this to be like. Like everyone talking freely about stories they've had, or trying to connect things where things might have happened. And I don't know. It's just I can't actually put into words the actual things that go on in my head.
If we were superheroes, this would be our origin story. This would be where we explain where we got our powers from.
Saying about that, Chris, actually is something I wanted you to hear as well. I'll get Spoons to read it because he's more better with the words than I is. And so this guy Joseph, who we met at the Surf Expo, actually. He said it's all right to read this out, and he sent us a message after you came on first time you came on, and not the time you were talking about Leighton's sister, the first time you came on, when you came in on the professional manner.
And in an episode, is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, basically, long way around. And he sent this message afterwards. It does start off a little bit dark, but it does get better.
It's quite long as well, so bear with.
Yeah, bear with. I'm glad this isn't live, so I'll try and do this justice. The message is as follows. It says, "Hi guys, just listened to your latest podcast and felt compelled to share my own struggles with mental health and how surfing, or perhaps the ocean in general, helped me in learning to find happiness again. To start from the beginning would make this story far too long, so to cut it down to an appropriate length, I'll start from somewhere in the middle. It's 2016. I'm living in New Zealand with my mates and my girlfriend, who are all English. From the outside, my life looks pretty sweet, but the reality is I'm in therapy because I don't want to go on living anymore. I think it reached this point due to me spending years neglecting all the warning signs that told me I wasn't very happy. Instead of admitting to myself or anyone else that I wasn't feeling good and trying to do something about it, I just turned to drinking, which only helped send me deeper into this hole I felt I was in. This all culminated in a near suicide attempt. I actually kept a rope in my bedroom because I was sure that one night I would actually use it. Several nights I almost did. One particularly bad night, for reasons I don't quite get, I reached out and asked my best mate for help. He actually slept with me in my room that night to make sure I was okay. The next day, we started making calls and got me set up with a therapist. This was the start of a long road to feeling better. It's not always been easy, but I've never been able to even start down this path without first asking for help. Fast forward to 2020, my girlfriend and I are back in the UK, and despite the lockdown, I've managed to curb my drinking and keep busy by starting work for myself as painter and decorator. I'm happier than I've been for a long time, but something is still missing. By this point, I've learned to listen to myself and be quite mindful of my thoughts. I decided to turn my attention inward and focus on things that made me not just happy, but filled me with excitement and anticipation. It quickly dawned on me that throughout all our time away in Australia and New Zealand, I'd neglected a major part of what the trip was supposed to be about, the ocean. With the ocean on the brain, I decided that as soon as I was allowed, lockdown pending, I would start dedicating as much free time as I could to getting out to the coast and going surfing or swimming or walking. With my new goal of learning to surf cemented in my mind, I drove off down to Bude full of enthusiasm. I rented a foamy and then quickly learned that surfing is bloody hard work. When I got out, after about an hour and a half of being smashed by white water, I was freezing cold, knackered, disheartened that I didn't even catch a wave, but completely ready to go again. This was a new feeling. My past self would have been so hard up that I hadn't done it, that I would have just given up. But there's something about the ocean and about the fight that you have to put up that just draws you back in. After a couple of hours, I was back in there and getting the crap beat out of me again. No more waves caught, but I was happy, truly happy. For the first time for so long, I tried something, failed, and gone back for more instead of just giving up. I failed again and again at catching waves, but it didn't matter. It was the pursuit of catching them that mattered, and still does matter. At present, I'm glad to say I've progressed somewhat and can now catch waves fairly regularly, but it's still not the point of going. I think the ocean and trying to surf is a sort of metaphor for life. It's going to be hard from time to time. It's going to hurt you and you may get frustrated with it. But if you don't give up and you keep battling it, at some point, the parts will fall into place and you'll get that great ride and realize it was all worth it. The ocean is my happy place and surfing is my therapy session. And I really think it can be that for everyone. No matter the age, there's something you can do out there. I know everyone's problems are different and personal to them, but the sea is something we can all share.
Yeah, wow. Said really well, isn't it?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a cool story.
And that came from last time you were on. That was someone reaching out afterwards and sharing their own story.
Yeah, and when he came to the expo, he said that we could use it, right?
Yeah. And he said that you open the amount of people that we've had say to us that you opening up at the end of that episode has helped them is one of the main reasons we wanted to do this as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long time coming. I know we've been talking to you about it every now and then, haven't we, about coming back on. Yeah. So your kind of bravery, because to be honest, when me and Pete were interviewing you, at the end, it just went totally away from what we thought was going to happen.
Yeah.
But in a good way. It totally threw us.
Totally. Because where you brought it up was like, where the hell?
And you came across on the episode as such a happy and go-lucky person, and you're really funny and you're joking with us. And it was just like, how can this person possibly be struggling? Look how happy they are. Yeah. And I think that's one of the things that people need to remember as well. It might have been a front for you, or maybe just a happy person. They do struggle as well. It's just
it doesn't show, does it? You know what I mean? It's
tears of a clown.
Tears of a clown, exactly. Yeah, that's it. It's like I hide behind comedy, and like making people laugh makes me happy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the core of it, like, yeah, I'm not happy. You know what I mean? At all. I'm going through something now which is bloody hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's like I can't silence the noise at all. It's but then I've got things in place, and I've got friends and family around me that are supporting me, and I just take it literally day by day now. I don't look any further along.
Yeah.
So do you think that the really dark thoughts you've had in the past, do you think they're behind you, or you can control them a little bit better now?
I wouldn't say they're completely behind me, but yeah, I can control them a lot better. Yeah. Definitely. Obviously, I'm on medication now, and sometimes, I'll sort of wake up one day going, "Oh, I feel great," and then the next day it'll be a completely different day.
Yeah.
And there's been nothing to trigger that.
No, nothing. No, I'll just wake up like that.
Yeah.
Like, and the bad days, I feel like I just want to stay in bed all day. It's like somebody literally pushing down on your chest, and you can't get up. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's it's not pleasant at all, and I wouldn't wish it upon anybody. But there is help out there. You just, unfortunately, you've got to look really hard for it.
Yeah. I think what we'll do is, on this episode on our website, we'll put a load of links that are helpful to people that they can use and find and go and seek help, and numbers you can ring or text, or Yeah.
Well, even it seems to be that some of the people have messaged us are like, maybe they don't feel like they're at that level yet or whatever, but they kind of reached out to us, which has been really nice, and we reply to every message and stuff, and so even if it's just talking to like-minded people, whatever,
definitely, because I've had a few messages as well after the episode, and I still get them right now, and it's nice that that I actually put myself out there and said, look, don't be alone in this, because nobody's alone in this at all. We're all. And I find that with the surf community, it's such a tight-knit group that we're all there for each other. It doesn't matter who you are or what background you have. We're all there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I heard someone say the other day about the surf community, it's something very hard to get into, but once you're in it for life.
Yeah.
There's no escape.
There's no escape.
There's no escape.
Just from what Chris was saying there, I mean, like, hopefully, like us just like chatting shit here on this and what have you, helps to maybe break down that barrier a little bit to people listening. That you can talk to your mates, like you can look out for each other and stuff, try and like articulate how you're feeling, and if you are feeling like that, try and get some help. That's part of breaking down the barriers of like for us guys, our experience as men's mental health, I think we do need to change culture on that. We need to bring down those barriers and get everyone to realize, like we've said, everybody struggles, there is help out there, don't suffer in silence, reach out to someone or something and try and get sorted.
Yeah. And also, it's also the other way of it is keep an eye on your friends and
look out for each other.
Send that text you want to send to someone. If you think about them, send them a text, because that could make the difference in their whole day. I think it was 100%. Phil Williams when he came on, and he said if he thinks about someone, he'll ring them or text them, and that's such a brilliant thing to do.
But the way
I
that
do
said,
that now,
and what he said was because if you don't know what to say to them, he said he just texts them and lets them know he's thinking about them.
Yeah.
Hi mate, how you doing? Yeah. Just thought of you today. Yeah. And that, like, how nice is that? That felt really, that just feels good. And he didn't even text me. Yeah. You know, that feels good.
Oh, he texts me every day.
Oh, right.
when he doesn't really.
Agent's sister texts me every day as well.
Oh, no. Oh, what? You had to go there, didn't you?
But he's not lying.
I am lying.
when I was struggling, like people would like text me and stuff, and like when you are struggling, you might not actually have the energy or the mental ability to text people back.
Yeah.
And like I would get messages and I would go, I can't reply. But knowing that they text me and knowing that they were looking out for me, like, really helped.
Yeah.
So, again, that, to say to everybody, check in on your mates, send that text message, just because you don't get a reply doesn't mean that it was a positive thing for that person.
Yeah.
In that day, definitely do that.
I know that my brothers, they don't understand mental health issues because fortunately they're okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, not okay, but they haven't suffered. So they don't know what to say to me, but I just keep telling them, like, just give me a message. It's absolutely sound. You know what I mean? You're right there, mate.
Yes. Sorry. I was just looking at the screen. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. I just turned the lights, but the lights on. It's just. I just realised it's gone completely dark on our screen.
There you go.
Look at me now, eh? Look at me now, baby.
Look at him.
Turn the lights back off. Turn the lights back off.
He's heard that before.
We're not going there. We're not even going there.
Oh, brilliant.
Right. So what do you want to do? Do you want to wrap it up, but kind of do it in a way where, seeing you guys have gone through the GP route and stuff like that, what would you say, like, for somebody who's listening, like the first step and the process and, like,
probably everything they've said.
Yeah. But, just as like a bit of a summary for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely, get in contact with your GP, and then hopefully they'll get the ball rolling for you to see counselling or a therapist, you know what I mean? And medication. There's nothing wrong with medication at all.
Yep.
Sometimes it works, like for spoons, it works straight away, or it might take a few months sort of thing, like it did for me.
Yeah.
So, I think I tried 4 or 5 different medications before I hit the one,
Yeah.
I'm still not 100%, but at the same time, I've got a lot of other things that I need to sort of, unload on and stuff like that. It's always a work in progress.
Yeah.
You're not better overnight. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
I mean, like I still get down some days, but now I'm in a position to be able to deal with that. Whereas before it was, you started down a hole and you just couldn't get out. The voices just got louder and louder. You couldn't make them quiet. Like, I still got the voices and I still get down and I still have, I still wake up some days and I'm like, oh God, but I'm in a position to be able to deal with that and get myself out. So I would agree with what Chris said and reach out to people, don't suffer in silence, ask your GP for help. Yeah. Don't get fobbed off, just with, here's some numbers or what have you. You try and make it clear that you do need some help and that you are asking, and don't suffer in silence. Share it with your friends and with your partner, because that they like these guys noticed a difference in me. When you share it with other people, you're. And like the words I'm looking for, it's
a problem shared is a problem half.
Well, yeah, it's like you don't have to mask it. You're saving that energy of having to mask it around those people because they know you're struggling, and that goes a long way. So definitely, reach out, ask your GP, don't suffer in silence, look out for each other. Definitely.
Yeah. And I know the GP is just going to give you medication, but they should also refer you to see a counsellor as well.
Yeah.
They work hand in hand.
Yeah.
There's no point just going on medication and that's it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You need that. You need to speak to someone professional.
Yeah.
Whether it's a psychiatrist, a counsellor, you know what I mean? They're there. They're there to be used. You know what I mean? And utilised.
I think that's like part of the reason for this one, to this episode, on this start of this episode, I wanted to come into it. I didn't want to do loads of research and, apart from finding some numbers and some things that could help people, I wanted it to be as men start talking, and how it is with men when they talk about mental health, how it goes up and down, and you throw jokes in to lighten the mood a bit, and even though it's a serious subject, you try and also not to take it so serious, because you have to sort of laugh through the pain in a way.
Well, yeah, and people also listen to the podcast to be entertained as well. And if this is how we would generally talk about it.
Yeah.
So it isn't all going to be.
The only difference would be if there wasn't microphones, there'd probably be a lot more swearing and.
There is that thing around mental health where you feel like it's got to be super serious, and don't you dare joke. Whatever you do, don't you dare joke. Yeah. That means you don't care as much.
No.
And it's just not how.
That's not real life.
No, in real conversations,
there's a difference.
This is how friends would talk.
I think there's a difference between joking about your own mental health and with your friends than making a joke about someone with mental health problems, hopefully that's come across. Like, we use the humor of it to try and lighten the mood on what we're talking about, when it can get quite like dark and serious sometimes. I think that's a good place to end it, with sort of looking out for your friends, like you both said, and seeking help if you can. As we say, we'll put numbers and websites and loads of links and addresses, as many as I can find on the website, because there's something out there for
we'll stick
everybody.
Chris's email on there as well, if that's all right. Chris, people can email you if they want to ask you questions and stuff.
Yeah, and his picture. And his address and phone number,
pen number, card details.
Brilliant. Oh, we got them off you at the expo anyway, mate, so it's fine.
Probably. New English.
See, he started.
Thanks for that, everyone. So that was Spoons and Chris.
Yeah.
And you.
And you.
And me.
Yeah. It was nice of those fellows to come back on, wasn't it?
I mean, that was a great chat. I mean, like, we had a laugh. We were talking about mental health and we had a laugh.
I think that is one of the best ways. Like, it's really difficult. It sounds really harsh to say, but I think it's one of the best ways to approach it, is like not laughing at mental health, but laughing at your own.
It's just what's the best
your own
way
problem, not your own problems. It's really difficult to explain, but like, to laugh at yourself is really good medicine.
Of the situation, because all the conversation around mental health is always serious, and don't joke about it or anything like that. And we weren't joking or kind of pointing and laughing at any kind of particular person or mental health problem. It was just us, as just a normal conversation between blokes. This is how blokes would probably talk about it, and well, we are blokes and we did. So,
yeah. Like we said, we're not professionals in any manner at all.
No,
in anything in our lives, we're not professionals. So yeah, I will put loads of information and numbers and contacts on the page for this episode.
Yeah, and like we said before, you can send us an email, and you can also send Chris an email if you've got any questions, or even just to, maybe say your problems. That can help.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's it for part one. We will spread these out, and as Leighton said in that one, there will be some guest hosts coming up at some point, because he's got a very busy life at the moment. Not only has he got a new baby, and he's getting married, and he's got a very busy job.
Yeah, I mean, our wedding is very last minute. An opportunity has arisen, and we've now got 3 months. So
that's how the baby came along. An opportunity arisen, and you took it.
So yeah, a few things to do. So if I need it, there might be the odd guest host, which might be quite fun anyway.
Yeah, it'd be nice for me to speak to other people apart from you.
Yeah, it'd be nice for me too.
Yeah, so like I mentioned, the competition will close on the day this episode comes out, which is the 9th of May, and it will close at 12 o'clock tonight. So if you haven't bought your tickets, and it's Tuesday and you listen to this, 1, why didn't you listen to it on Monday? 2, too late, motherfucker!
So when is it actually drawn?
It will be drawn on May the 14th, 2022.
Exciting stuff.
Yeah. And there's a mammoth amount of prizes, including 2 surfboards, a pop-up pro, clothes, wax, fins, bags.
So what are we going to do a bonus podcast when we draw?
Yeah, we'll have to, won't we?
Yeah, I suppose so.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
I'll try and be there for that one.
To be honest, yeah, great. I'll be doing it on my own otherwise. But to be honest, I think we've sold about 350 tickets now.
Amazing.
And
so what does that equate to?
£1,750 for Surfability.
Oh, how amazing is that?
Yeah.
That's so good. So thank you very much if you have entered, and good luck.
And also, someone did say that why don't we chuck in an invite to your wedding onto the prizes?
Because who would go to that apart from some weirdo? I don't know what I'm
Imagine
weirdo turning up at a wedding. You go, hi, I won the competition. I don't know anyone or even you, but I'll sit in a corner and eat your food. No thanks. Jesus Christ! You're not even coming.
Someone being a. Eating your food. That's the word. He's like that. Like, Joey doesn't share food. Yeah. So competition. Anyway, that's ending. That's closing today, and will be drawn on the 14th, as I say. Also, got to mention the Spring Classic that's down in Woolacombe.
Yeah.
On Wavelength,
magazine, yes.
And it's a Spring Classic Invitational. There's loads of surfing, music, food, everything going on there. I'll be down there. Busy boy over here won't, but I'll take some adequate, sufficient human being with me.
Your wife.
Probably. Unless I get a better offer. And, so I'll be down there chatting to people. So if you see me, come and say hello to me. If you don't want to say hello to me, don't bother, carry on walking. I think that's pretty much it. Don't forget to go and do all the usual like and subscribes everywhere. Leave us a review. Send us your love.
Didn't you say that you can do leave comments and reviews on Spotify?
You can leave reviews on Spotify.
Yeah, please do that, because that would be great. We have quite a lot on iTunes.
Yeah, follow us on YouTube as well. Follow us on YouTube.
I read them quite a lot. They're quite nice. When they need to pick me up.
Yeah. It's good. So, we hope you've got something from today's episode, and, it's helped or made you think about anything in your own life. And until the next time, take care of each other. And yourselves. I did it the wrong way around again. Fuck it.
Do you do that every week now?